Hello, my name's Nick Dutch, and I often ask myself, where is the New Age movement going? Where is the pagan movement going? Where is this new religious movement progressing? I think about the things which demark or apparently separate the New Age movement from the main three faiths of Judaism, Islam and Christianity and the various denominations thereof. Firstly, you've got the vision of time as being cyclical, moving in a cycle. Secondly, you've got the vision of life itself as being a journey of learning, living, growth, development, change and all the rest. And thirdly, you've got the idea of an individual dealing directly with deity from the perspective of their own consciousness, possibly through meditation, prayer, and other forms of spiritual exercises. And these are the things which apparently separate paganism and the New Age movements from Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Is that really the case? I'm going to argue no. And I'm going to argue this pretty strongly. Within Judaism, the entire religion is based around the lunar cycles. The months of the calendar are squared up perfectly with the lunar phases. And time itself is perceived as being cyclical because of the influence of the moon. Within Christianity, life is seen as being a road or a path or a river. There was once a Tiffany window, a Tiffany stained glass window, that was in a chapel of rest. And it was completely devoid of all crucifixes, stars of David, or crescents and stars. And it had one singular religious symbol, a river. If it was in any other location, you would just see it as being a pretty picture of nature. The river itself symbolized the individual from birth through life to death and hypothetically thereafter. So we see in that particular window, in a Christian chapel of rest, a very powerful, modern, pagan symbol. A very powerful spiritual symbol. And something which is being presented in a place where the dead are laid to rest. One of the most powerful ideas which dominates human life. One could even say it is central to our very being. But I think the important fact here is that this was a Christian chapel of rest with a symbol in it which is applicable to Theosophy, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, paganism, Wicca, and all the rest. And also, there are people who are of an atheistic persuasion who seem to see life in a similar manner, as a result of literature, be it both facts and fiction, and the media, and the way that the media takes life and turns it into a mystical experience. So these concepts, which separate and demark paganism and the New Age movement, are in fact universal and are accepted by people of every single religious denomination and lack of worldwide. I find this fascinating, but I also think about why people choose the New Age movement as a reaction against Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or any other faith. Or whether people choose to be a part of the new religious movement for any other reason. Humans seem to object, quite rightly so, when they are treated badly. When they are exposed to ideas they find unpleasant, when they are treated as being a pawn in a game, when they are given an option which is believe as I tell you or you can't be a member of the group. As such, people choose another option, whether this option is atheism or the New Age movement or paganism or Wicca or whatever. And that's a great thing, and it is our right to choose another option, one that we feel more comfortable with. But why do religious groups say things and do things which are objectionable? And the answer is, of course, in terms of politics and, of course, some other pathogenic aspects of human life. For instance, an individual or a group can get the bee in the bonnet about a particular issue and start railing against that. The group can seek cohesion, and instead of thinking about the individual and the individual's growth and development, they think more about the issue and try and enforce views into people. In order to create community cohesion, hatred can also be used. It's not advisable, nor is it right, but people still use it. And it's rather shocking, and one would argue that it doesn't necessarily do anybody any good. However, it is part and parcel of the religious environments in which we live. And so to a certain degree we have to accept it, and maybe to try and change that with the passage of time. When I chose to leave paganism, officially, it was because I was being treated badly. I was being exposed to ideas that I found abhorrent. I was being treated like a pawn in a game. And essentially, certain individuals were trying to brainwash me because they had their own attitudes and their own issues that they were refusing to work through. And instead of working through anything, they just chose to do harm for the purposes of community cohesion and expanding their own agenda. But it's this political drive which is the thing which causes the problems and the issues. I mean, I sometimes hear a pagan talking about how they hate a Christian, when in fact the Christian that they're attacking sees life and religion and spirituality in precisely the same way as the pagan. And I mean in precisely the same way, seeing time as being cyclical, seeing life as a journey, and seeing the personal relationship with the deity. You see, these core values that I'm talking about, they're more important than anything else. They're the things which really make us human. And these ideas are to be found everywhere. It's a question of finding them and finding ways of working with them and seeing these as things which unite us and don't divide us. It's very easy to emulate the behaviors of people who treated us badly, but it's not desirable. And if we find ourselves starting to treat people the way that we ourselves were treated, we have to find some mechanism or some desire to overcome this so that we can revert back to doing what's right rather than what's wrong.